I guess this is recording now. I just downloaded this screenshot thing, so yeah, I do need to continue now. My computer crashed. I don't think I have enough files open. So unprofessional. All right, dude. Let me just open a basic file. Is this one right here? Yeah. What is he saying?
$1,000 10 times a day. Listen every day, every weekday from 9:05 a.m. to 6:05 p.m. for the keyword to text that could make you $1,000 richer in this multi-city contest.
All right, so let's just take that. I'm going to copy that and move it to a new file. Let me make this bigger. That's what she said. I'm going to go to Effects. If you're not using Adobe 1.5 or up to 3, then this might not pertain to you. If you're using CS6, then I could show you that on my MacBook, how I can match the, pretty much match the audio that I'm about to create here, the processing with that. So this might be a big waste of time, but we'll find out. All right. So what I do is I bring out the high ends a few times. So I go to Graphic Equalizer. Let me not move so fast there, asshole James. Not all the Adobe 1.5s and 1.0s and whatever have had this just high lift sitting there. But it's the same exact thing as simple high lift. So whatever one you want to use, it's literally the same exact thing. Excuse me, I'm choking on Cuban sandwich. Gross. I'm going to do that twice. All right. I'm sure you are aware, but I'm just going to say it anyways. I bring out the high ends first because once I process this, you want your VO to stand out over the music beds, and effects and stuff like that normally have a lot of bass in them. If you bring out the high ends from the beginning, then it's going to set a good precedent. Precedent? It's going to set a good precedent. Whatever. It's going to make your audio stand out if you bring out the high end. And I do this with all VO, from female to male. Commercials, imaging, I always bring out the high ends twice with that simple high lift, or look, it just went back to high lift. I don't know. Then I go to Amplitude, dynamic processing. Third one from the bottom, vocal compression -24 plus 12 dB, fast. It's always been a love of mine. It's never let me down. I may venture elsewhere if I'm trying to make things sound different and weird. In these first few, but these are essentially my first few steps. All right, so I processed that. So now I went from
$1,000 10 times a day. Listen every day, every weekday from 9:05 a.m. to 6:05 p.m.
to
$1,000 10.
So it kind of thickened it up a little bit. I know I could hold down Control-Shift-Z, but I didn't feel like it. All right. Sorry. I had a really early morning this morning, so I'm a little... Stop whining, James. You work in a freaking studio. All right. So if you're wondering how I get to this sound, which I'm guessing maybe you are trying to figure out how I get to this sound. Where's this sound, James? Which one do we want to pull up here? Here we go. Amp imaging stuff.
Hello, Orlando. This is Katie Tiz. You're listening to 1019 Amps Radio.
That's not Jake.
Whistle while you work it.
Or hit music every hour.
Whistle while you work it.
My day one rule is keeping my cool, even if I'm broken This is your man Flo Rida. It's going down for real.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Wiz Khalifa.
All right, when he doesn't actually talk.
About you,
I love that song.
Hear more of your favorite hit music next.
From the Aarons.com studios.
What is this crazy music? I want you to know.
WJHM FM.
HD1, Daytona Beach, Orlando. More hit music every hour.
Way less commercials.
Oh yeah. You're listening to
Orlando's new 1019 Amp Radio.
Amp, listen, win.
That's me. So.
Latoya did 10 times every week. Yeah, Latoya. No.
Oh, shut up, James.
Find out more ways to
Delivered by Hungry Howie's Flavored Crust Pizza. Order online at hungryhowies.com.
find out more ways to get that money at 1019ampradio.com/win. WJHM FM, HD1 Daytona Beach, Orlando.
Let It Drop. Drop it like, drop it like, drop it like.
Club 1019.
You ready?
James Steele and DJ Chino. This is Amp Radio.
Hey, this is David Guetta.
I'm Nicki Minaj.
This is Afro Jack.
1019 Amp Radio.
So here's my
1019 Amp Radio.
Number one for
New music.
Shaggy. I Need Your Love.
All right, so if it's that like kind of thickness that you're looking for, then it is just a couple steps. So let's take you there. Let's take you there.
$1,000 10 times a day.
Let's get rid of all this crap, by the way. All this nonsense.
Listen every day. Hey, every weekday. From 9:05 every week. Listen every day. Listen every weekday.
Every day, every day, every weekday was repetitive.
9:05 a.m. to 6:05 p.m.
Popping those P's. Sorry for dragging on.
For the keyword,
But this is my OCD.
the keyword to text. It could make you $1,000
And my A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
multi-city contest.
All right, there we go. So this is pretty solid audio right here. This is what I want to use. So then we can do two things here. All right, if you want like a crunch to it, like a distortion, but nothing like too distorted, you can just go straight to scientific filter. Go to drop off below 250 hertz HZs, and you can play around with the cutoff. All right, the higher you go, the thinner the voice will get. Normally 225 should do it, and then after I do that, I'm gonna process the shit out of it again. Third one from the bottom, bam, bam.
$1,000 10 times a day. $1,000.
He's kind of Jake's got some saliva going on here. So, actually a lot of fucking saliva going on here. It's actually better to clean up your audio before you do all the processing and shit.
$1,000 10 times. Listen every weekday from 9:05 a.m. to 6:05 p.m.
All right. That gives it a
Listen every week.
it still has some sort of bass to it. It doesn't sound so cell phony or telephone. If you want to go higher to 250, process a couple times.
Listen every weekday from 9:05.
Now let me show you when I
Listen every week.
add some distortion to it. Call this one Hump 1. All right. So now it went from here
Listen every weekday.
to here.
Listen every weekday from 9:05.
All right. There isn't much distortion there, but it's just enough to make it stand out over music and doesn't sound quite like distortion.
Listen every weekday.
And even then, I can actually probably bring that down. I'm wearing my headphones, so hold on. Let me hear what it sounds like without my headphones.
Listen every weekday. Listen every weekday from 9:05 a.m. to 6:05 p.m. for the keyword to text that could make you $1,000 richer in this multi-city contest.
Yeah, so there's that.
Listen.
If you want, you can go ahead and do it thicker like that. Process.
Listen every weekday from 9:05 a.m. to 6:05 p.m.
If you want to, you can even add another distortion.
Listen every weekday.
It's a little bit too much though.
Listen every weekday.
Another thing you can do is
Listen every
sometimes this bow curve one will work.
Listen every weekday.
Now there's some definite distortion there, but it will vary up Jake's voice sometimes when you're doing different promos that could match that. Like I know I used that a lot with a variety of things, but like upbeat stuff, like for Ultra Music Festival, and you know.
Listen every weekday.
Let me thicken that up a little bit.
Listen every weekday. Listen every weekday. Listen every weekday from 9:05 a.m. to 6:05 p.m.
Now you might say that sounds like really distorted, but let me grab a bed from somewhere. Let me just mix paste this instead of doing.
Listen every weekday from 9:05 a.m. to 6:05 p.m. Listen every weekday from 9:05 a.m. to 6:05 p.m. Listen every weekday from 9:05.
It's kind of a fun bed.
For the keyword to text.
Another trick I do is instead of using an echo,
For the keyword to text.
I created my own thing in here under echo. I started out with Canyon, but then I changed the delay to something like 40, 70, and then the next one could be like 40. What was it? Sorry, forgot. What is it? Yeah, 40, 70. Actually, that needs to be more closer to 40, 25, I believe. So if you start with Canyon and do like 4,000, not 40, and then 40, 25, and then you hit add, and you were like, Jake's cool, echo. All right, you've added a preset. Now what that's going to do is you're going to get this over here.
For the keyword to text. For the keyword to text. For the keyword to text.
And that sounds good on stuff that isn't filtered and everything too.
1,000. Text.
Another thing I like to do is add a little bit of reverb to everything.
For the keyword to text.
To give it some depth. I don't think anybody notices that actually listens, who isn't in radio. But fuck those people. No, I'm just joking. But yeah. Oh yeah. What I'm doing now is something I use every once in a while. There's some sort of like hit, like a slam, like a. But I want there to be an ending, some sort of VO that ends. Like say Jake says, or somebody, I have an artist or whatever go at the end of a promo, only from 1019 they go, and there's that fade after that slam or that like wipe sort of thing. I reversed that piece of audio where he says, do I have an amp radio in here?
Contest. For the keyword to text.
Let's imagine he just says 1019 amp radio there. All right, so I reversed him, then I put like 60 seconds of dead space. All right, now what I'm going to do is reverb, natural reverb, and then I'm going to do like 95. And that just increased the amount of reverb. Then I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to add a little bit more reverb. Now that's reversed back to the normal side, but I want it to still flow towards the end. And I'm just changing the wetness of the reverb. You can play around with it. The lower, the less reverb you're going to have. The higher, obviously, the higher you're going to have. So then I process that. A lot of process, and I'm using the same processor.
For the keyword to text. For the keyword to text.
All right, and then what else? I think that's
1,000.
I think that's about it. I believe.
10 times a day.
But see, that even sounds cool. That effect that I made
$1,000 10 times a day.
does really cool things stereo-wise. Just make sure when you're placing that in your multi-track or whatever that you keep the volume of it a little bit higher than normal. Because even though in the studio you will hear it very well, once it hits the airwaves, it won't be as loud and won't be as clear. So you just bring that up a little bit higher than the rest of the VO when you put this effect on it,
$1,000 10 times.
if you choose to. All right. I think that about does it.